Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, so I told you we would be making a project with one of these from Dollar Tree. We'll start off by saying that years ago I used to do daycare. I did it for 20 years and I used to make quite a bit of different craft projects with the kids. And I liked coming up with things that they could take in the car with them. So kind of travel items. So when I seen this, first thing I seen was a tic-tac-toe game. So I am going to show you how we're going to turn this into a travel tic-tac-toe game. So this is my little prototype I made. So I just quickly put this one together. So I just did some dinosaurs. I had some dinosaur paper. And then we have the little game pieces. So there are two different dinosaurs. And they're just stickers. I got this roll of stickers off of Amazon. And they were the perfect size. I didn't have to cut them or anything. So they were the perfect size. I'll give you measurements as we're going along and stuff. So I didn't decorate this one or nothing because this was just kind of my sample just to see, make sure everything worked. I did just put inside so that, they can have something to kind of like, entertain themselves while they're playing, I guess. These two confetti from Dollar Tree also. And then I glued it shut so that they can't open it and it spills everywhere. So that's that one. Now, I didn't have what I wanted for another child's one. So we're going to make, it's not, I guess, definitely a kid can play with it, but it's more, I don't want to say it's geared for adults, I guess, but it's not for a girl or a boy or anything. It's just like a family one. So I kind of got some things prepared already so that because this would take a while. It doesn't take that long, but you got to do some Mod Podging and stuff. What I did, I already got these ones Mod Podged in, and then we'll Mod Podge these together. And then we are using this paper pack, this brand new one. I forgot to show this in my haul though. I showed the rest of it in the haul, but I forgot this. I had it upstairs because I was working on the project. But this is news from Doodlebug, of course, and I love this paper pen. I'm going to try to make a few more projects with it and stuff. So I've got a few of the things we're going to use from that kit there is what we're going to use on this one. First thing we're going to do, you need a piece that is for the cover. It's 5 1/8 by 5 1/8, okay? So, and then just round your corners. Now, you could put this right on top, but I want to make it more durable because this might, get wrecked off when the kids are kind of playing with it. So we are going to put it on the inside. Now make sure of your orientation so when you close it, it's the right way. So let's bring it down just a little. So it's the right way. Isn't that cute paper? So all we're going to do, it's very easy to do this. And all I'm going to do is grab a brush. And we're just going to put some Mod Podge down in there. Nothing fancy. Don't worry if you get on the edges and stuff. Mod Podge dries clear, so it doesn't matter. Just get a good coat. All over the inside. This will just help make it a little bit more secure by doing it on the inside so the kids can't rip the paper off. Okay, let's just kind of smooth it out a little bit. And then we are just going to lay it down. And I'm going to lay it flat and just kind of rub it down. Now, in the center here, see if I can show you on this one. In the center there, oh, I just broke that off. There is like a little bump. So just kind of smooth it around there. And just make sure your edges are down. Doesn't take long for Mod Podge to take a hold. But then I just keep working around this. Otherwise, you get like a little air bubble, which isn't a big deal. Okay, so let's go ahead and do these three. The 3 squares I have left. Which I have extra pieces, of course. These little squares are, 1 and about 7/16. Just kind of measure, you know, each square, like a couple of these squares were a little different. So I did all the same size squares so you use a little gap around there, but I don't care, you know. So whatever, you don't have to even do the inside if you don't want to. I just think it's kind of, you know, something more interesting to look at. And again, if you didn't want to do the inside like this, you could just do it on the bottom. But like I said, it might get torn off easier. So that's why I like to do it this way, and it doesn't really take that much more time. Let me pull this over just a little bit here so I can make sure I'm getting these squares somewhat. I think I'm going to make some for the craft show and see how they sell. I mean, it doesn't cost much, $1.25 for that container. And then whatever papers, I have another sample at the end. I'll show you what I use to make another one. If you can't find like stickers and stuff. That one to stay down. Don't need that much Mod Podge. And I just got matte Mod Podge. I like matte's the one I use the most. And of course, you know, I'll have all the links that I can for you. Wipe some of that up. And put this last one down. Now I'm going a little quicker than, you know, I normally would, but we're on video and this will take a hot minute. And I just kind of go back and make sure this one's staying down, which it usually does. Okay, I'm just going to make sure they're somewhat straight. I enjoyed, you know, I did daycare out of my house. I enjoyed doing it. Of course, crafting was a big part of our, you know, what we did and stuff. But yeah, I used to make like a big beanbag toss game and a ring toss game. I had all these different things that we always made. And it was a lot of fun coming up with different ideas too. Okay, so I like to put a layer on top also. You don't have to do that step. I just, you know, make it a little bit more secure and a little bit more durable. But if you don't want that step, skip that step. All this done, and then it'll dry while we're working on other stuff. You know, my brain always works in mysterious ways. I just see different things out of items. I've always been that way. I wish I could remember half the things I made when I did the daycare, but I can't remember some of them. I did daycare for so many years, up until my daughter turned 18. Then I stopped because she was going off to college, and I wanted to be able to visit her and stuff like that. So I didn't do it after that. It was a lot of fun. Okay, and this should be, I don't put it on until I know that this little bubble is down so that I don't have to worry about that bubble. And then we're going to put a coat on top of there too. Like I said, it's a very easy craft to make. Let the kids help you out. They can pick out the paper. You can help show them how to cut with the size they need. So it's very, very easy. And like all the pieces are going to be together, so you don't have to worry about things getting lost. Okay. That's good. We're not done with the Mod Podge though yet. I'm going to use it in just a second. So we'll let that dry. We're going to decorate this one, of course, because this one's not a sample, but it'll dry clear, so you'll see white now, but we're going to put that off to the side. Now we have our little containers. Now you can, here, let me use this one back out. This one here that I broke the little thing off. So my fingers fit just fine taking them in and out like that, you know. It's not a problem. If you don't want to fill them, you can always just use this part, put it upside down, and use that part just as well. And I have another idea I'll show you at the end too. But so if you don't want to use it, if you don't want to fill it, just use this part and we'll put the game piece on top here. But I just think for the kids, for a little extra, you know, visual effect, I guess, you know, put something inside of it. So I just thought that was. So we're going to be, of course, putting something inside of this one. Okay. So same thing with these. Now let's see what size punch. 1 3/4 inch punch works perfectly. The 1 3/4 inch punch works perfectly for inside. So I cut those, and I know I'm going to need this side. I already have some of them done, so I've got some of them that are going to be the green, and then some of them are going to be this color for the game pieces. But if you have a 1 3/4 inch punch, it's the perfect size to fit inside the lid. I was so lucky. I was like, wow, that's perfect. If not, you'll have to just kind of trace it out and cut around and cut your circle out then. But 1 3/4 inch works perfect. Same thing now. We're just gonna, in the lid, not the bottom piece, in the lid, let me get my 3 lids out here. Okay. In the lid, we are just gonna run a little Mod Podge in there and then put our game piece down in there. Okay, now I want you to make sure you put the right color in the right way. Then just push around to make sure it's down. And, you know, paint brush on your there also. Yep, move that out of the way. So just put it on the inside of the lid. Okay. One more. Doesn't take no time at all to make these. The longest is, of course, waiting for it to dry, because I do want to decorate the inside cover on this one where I didn't on the other one, but this one I'm going to, because this is, you know, a good one, I guess. I'll finish the dinosaur one later when I find everything I need for it. Then I'll finish up the dinosaur one. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go grab, it was just sitting here, my glue. So I'm going to use this Gorilla Super Glue, is what we are going to be using to close up the lid, okay? But not yet. I'm going to put something inside there. So that's what your lids will look like. These are our game pieces. Bring them all in here. Should have 9 of them. 4 of one, 5 of the other. Whoop, here you are. I'm like, I can count. Okay, so what I'm going to do on the inside is, why does my stuff keep going missing on me? Hiding behind the glue. Oh my God. So I'm using the shaker elements from this kit, and they're just little bees and stuff. The little bees and the little flowers and leaves. I showed them in the haul. Okay, so these ones I have glued down already. So let's fill these 3. And you don't need to fill them up all the way. I just fill them enough so that, you know, it's make some noise. Okay, just put some in. You can fill them as full as you want. You know, these elements are a little bit more expensive, but this one I'm going to keep in my stash, this little game. unless somebody comes over and sees it and takes it. Where if you use something like these, of course, $1.25. This is, I used this blue and this green for the dinosaur game, and I didn't even go through the whole pack. So, and I pretty much filled those all the way up, so that went a long way. Okay, so then I won't glue all of them. I'll just glue the one. Ugh. Just gonna do it because super glue can be hard to get going here. There you go. And all I do is do some little taps, some little dots along the rim. Just along the rim. That's all you need to do. I don't know if you can see it along the rim there. And put on our cover. Just like that. And then we have our game pieces. See if it's drying. So, okay, feels okay. Put that on. Make sure they're all good and tight. Now, for the top of these ones, this one I used stickers, of course. And I put the stickers, for this one, I put the stickers on a piece of cardstock to make it more sturdy. And then I put it, I should have left one of these open. Then I put it inside, so dinosaur down, and the cardstock is showing from the other side. You can see the cardstock on the other side. And Mod Podged it in. So that's how I did those, so they can't get the dinosaurs off. So this one, we're going to put these stickers. We're going to use some of these stickers, and we'll just set them on top, because they wouldn't work so well under the lid. And these are pretty sticky, so I don't know that we'll need no extra glue. I think we'll use, well, we should use a bee because we got bee collection, so we'll use some bees. And we're just going to put him in the middle. Isn't that cute? He's adorable. So let's do 5 of the bees. Yeah, I think the bee on the green was perfect. See, it'll show really good. I made a busy book. I made, oh my gosh. I made, I do a lot of plastic canvas back in the day. And I made a crayon holder, and I made all this stuff back in the day. Okay, let's do the little beehive. That goes with the bee, right? And then these will be our game pieces. They ought to be sticking up because they're sticking to me here. Okay. There are your game pieces. Isn't that cute? All right, let's bring this back. Get that little air bubble out of there. We're going to cover it anyway, so it's not a big deal. All right, so let's go on the outside because we can do the outside, no problem. All right, so I just took some of the elements. We're going to put this on top. And yes, it's going to go on top the plastic because it really didn't work underneath because, you know, if you're covering it and everything. But this just gives it more dimension. And I found this sticker. So these came out of the element pack. All the things Be Happy. And I thought family fun was perfect. So this is a good family fun game. But I also did, you know, carpool, of course. So we always took, you know, games and toys in the car because you had to sit for a little while picking up the kiddos. And went to 2, sometimes 3 different schools when we used to do daycare. So I don't know, it was fun, but you know. So we're just gonna glue that on. I put foam on the back, and I'm using the foam that I got on clearance from Hobby Lobby. I've never used this before, so we're giving it a try. So we're using that, and I already put it on the back. I'm also going to add a little bit of glue just to make sure, because I do not know how well this foam tape is. And you're gluing down on plastic. I want to make sure it's going to stay. It feels pretty sticky, but I'll run a thing of glue right down the center just to help it. And I'm going to place that right here. Make sure I'm straight. There's a groove here, so I'm just kind of following along there. Now these, of course, the kids could, you know, eventually probably peel off, but maybe they won't. This one off. They come off easy enough, so that's good. Let me wipe my little nozzle off here. There we go. Okay. We got things working around here. And I'm just going to center that. Okay. Beautiful. Feels like they'll stay pretty good. And just for, I think we'll put a little, let's see what this heart looks like. Down in this corner, we'll put a little heart. You can decorate as much as you want. All right, that's the outside. Isn't that cute? Okay, so the inside, we're not going to puff it up because you don't want, when you're playing or making this game, you got to remember this lid comes pretty tight to these pieces. So that's why I'm using mostly stickers. I'll show you another way you can use some resin pieces that with this one. But that one works. You don't want too puffy of things because there's not much space between here and the lid. So that's why we are just going to put these stickers straight down. And I picked out this one. And we're going to put that right about here-ish. And the cute little sun maybe up there. Let's see how that looks. And that way when they open the game, there's something else to look at too. So let's take, the paper is all dry. There's some, you know, spots there where I got along the edges where I got a lot. It'll dry. Glue on there. And I'll put that right about there, avoiding the groove there so that it'll lay down flat. Okay, and now the cute little sun. Just gonna put a little dot on each one of the rays. And then get a hold of it a little different and do the middle. Okay, and then we'll lay him down. Ah, I think that's adorable. Though then again, I am a big kid, right? Isn't that cute? I mean, you could do this whatever you want. You could put picture down here instead. You can put a, you know, even a hidden message or whatever. You know, you can do it any way you want. And so we've got the cute little, make some noise. I'm going to put our little game pieces in there. And I just won. Yay. There you have a really cute tic-tac-toe game for the kids, and you can take that right in the car. It's not something that's going, that they, you know, you don't have to really worry about them swallowing anything. If you're worried about, if you have really young kids, then do the way I did the dinosaur. If you're worried that they're going to pick this off, then do this instead where it's on the inside. There's nothing for them to peel off. It's glued down. They can't get into this. So you're really safe with this. This one, you know, it's a little, will they pick that off? I mean, it's on there actually pretty hard. I'll get my nail under there. You know, you judge by the child that you're giving it to, but I think this one turned out so cute. I'm going to keep this one in my stash. But wouldn't these make really cute little gifts? I mean, no time at all to make these. You could, you know, make them for kids events or anything like that, you know. Just adorable. Your paper really does the trick. All right, so there's that one. And then we have our cute dinosaur, which I will go finish this. I'll probably put, I got to find something. I don't have a lot of kids paper. Well, I pulled this one off now. These things aren't on there very good, are they? Put that one back on. Oh no. Come on, pop in there. I guess I'm just kind of weak. I can't get it. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. I gotta put this side in first, and then I pop that down. Okay, I got it. All right, so we got that one. We got Dinosaur. Now, I made this one. I know it's a little bit more, you know, how about it like a teen? Teens like to play, adults like to play. We all like to play tic-tac-toe. Okay, so for this one, isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. Okay, what I did on this one, so that you can use resin pieces. These are resin pieces. Let me get the components out. So this one I'm using just the lid. I glued on one of these coin holders. So I glued that on here. And I put decorative paper in the lid. Not in this one because it's covered with this flower. But so you can see I got the decorative paper in this one. Then I've got the coin holder on. And then I found these really pretty resin flowers. If you use a smaller resin, you might want to put a picture on the inside just so it doesn't look so plain. But here you can't really even tell. And this one was a 1 inch. So this was a perfect 1 inch if you want to do that. Otherwise, so that way you can use your resin pieces and you still have, this is a pretty big resin piece. You know, you can see how thick it is. And then you can grab these. I mean, it's so easy. This, so you just grab them right out, you know. So you can do resin pieces too by just using your cover. And the only reason I put the coin holder on was that makes it a little, you needed something to kind of grab on. It's harder to grab onto the lid. This made it easier to grab the piece out when playing. So that's why I put the little coin holder on. And I just used my super glue again. Let your pieces just dry overnight so make sure they're really secure. This coin holder is very, very secure. I have fun trying to even open it to begin with. So I don't think the kids can get it open. But if you think they might, then just glue it down like we did the other ones. But it's pretty secure. So just glue that down and then throw on whatever resin piece you want. And you don't have to even decorate the inside if you want, but I think it's just so much prettier to do that. And there you have that one. And then this one I just put some faux flowers on the inside. I didn't put nothing on the inside. It's just the blue. I didn't put nothing on the inside of this one. I may later when I find something I like, but I just put some silk flowers and hot glued them down onto the lid and did that. So I thought that was really, really cute. So let me move this over here so we can kind of see our little fun that we did. Lock this one. This one's really, really, I like this, how this turned out. And on the go you go. That's so cute. I love this paper though. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any more, suggestions you want me to try, kids stuff, I don't care. Kids, anything, pretty much anything. I'm trying to go back into my little brain way back 30 some years to try to remember, all the things I made. Some of it you can't make on, there are big items. Like I said, that beanbag toss was a huge cardboard box that we made into a beanbag toss game. And, I mean, we did so much stuff back then. We made the little things, and made big things. And, I'm going to make a busy book, though. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make a busy book. I made it out of fabric. I'm going to try to make one out of paper is what I'm going to try to do. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this cute little tutorial. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.